Hi, Harvey Schmidecki here, and I've got your private practice survival strategy for this week. What we're going to talk about here is the price of freedom, specifically what it is that you have to pay for having been so bold as to decide to open your own practice rather than going to work for the hospital. You probably remember when you first turned the key on your first leased office space, your hand probably trembled a little bit, but you were filled with a lot of dreams and a lot of enthusiasm. Usually that's because people envision having power of choice over a number of areas. They want to determine the kind of treatment that they're going to give their patients and the volume of that treatment. They want to be able to form lifelong relationships with their patients and their staff and their referral sources. They want to determine their own schedule. They want to eventually reach a point of financial independence where they can reap the benefits of having worked so hard rather than working for someone else. So that enthusiasm usually carries you into practice, even though you probably have an inkling that you're missing some things, some parts of your education that you didn't learn. And it normally takes about an hour or a day or a month before new private practice owners realize that they really haven't got much of a clue when it comes to how to run a practice. They've spent 8 years learning how to be a great clinician, but usually it's about a half hour that they get in school on anything resembling skills that help them in private practice. And that's normally something called like how to write an equipment budget or something lame like that that a lot of people don't even bother going to. But the three things that comprise the other half of your education if you're going to be successful in private practice are these things. Number 1, promotion. Number 2, organization. And number 3, cash flow. By promotion, here's what I'm talking about. I mean, you need to be able to build a good, solid referral base. You need to be in control of the quantity and quality of patients that are being referred to you. You also need to know how to make your clinic stand out from the competition. And the competition isn't necessarily that other person in your own profession or even another profession next door. The competition, when you think about it, what's the first choice when a patient's at home in pain? What's the first thing he reaches for? He's reaching for a drug. And when he goes to his GP, the first thing that the GP probably gives him is a stronger drug. Not to put down GPs, but that's the fact. These drug companies are spending 250 times what they spend on research and development. They're spending 250 times that on marketing and sales to convince people that the drugs are a first choice. So you've got an uphill battle, and you've really got to know what you're doing there on a promotional level. On an organizational level, you need to know how to hire and keep the best staff, how to get yourself into a pay arrangement so that you're not being tied down by high base wages. You need to know how to organize the clinic so that as it grows, it doesn't become overwhelming to you. Those things fall under the organizational key. And under cash flow, we're really talking about how do you drive in your reimbursements, but even more importantly, how do you handle the money that you have coming in so you've got something left at the end of the day and you can achieve that financial independence that you're looking for. So those are the three parts of your education that they didn't teach you in school. Now, there's some good news. It might have taken you 8 years in formal schooling and then many more years in hands-on application to learn this, but fortunately you can learn those three things without either having to reinvent the wheel, go into the school of hard knocks and bash your head against the wall for years and years. You can learn by profiting from the experience of more than 4,000 private practice owners across the country. They have worked with my partner Craig Ferrer and I for over 30 years. These are people who have applied the basic marketing and management skills that we've learned, and they've applied it in a private practice specific setting, so that we've come up with strategies that work for just about any practice in various different settings. Now, to learn those things, each week I do a 1-hour webinar, and I do them on different topics, which I'm going to list here in a minute, but I always have at least one guest host on, and you get to learn from people like you that have been successful in this area, and you get to learn some of the marketing and management basics that we apply. The topics are these. We do one webinar on new referrals. It's called The Secret to Endless Referrals. We do one on how to make your clinic stand out based on its core competencies called Standing Out. We do another on financial planning for improved profits with CPA Bob Holmes. And we do another on hiring and retention how to hire and keep the best staff. Usually a guest host on that is a friend of mine, a doc from New York, who has managed to build a physical therapy clinic that now does 2,500 good quality treatments per week. So I hope you'll join us. I think you're going to find out on those webinars that in 1 hour, using the workbook that we'll send you when you register, you'll probably learn more in that 1 hour as a professional courtesy at our cost. You'll probably learn more in that 1 hour than you've learned in your entire formal education with regard to the subject that we're covering. So that's the first thing you can do. It's at www.survivalstrategies.com. So just remember survivalstrategies.com. You can register. The other thing is pick up this book. This is for the other half of your education. This is basically your private practice marketing and management 101. It's a great read. It has strategies that we've gleaned over the last couple decades, and it will become your constant companion and desk reference when it comes to handling and sorting out things that crop up in even the best private practices. So you can pick that book up also at survivalstrategies.com. So I hope this has been helpful, at least to give you an orientation, and I hope to be working with you on the webinars, and I want you to have the best week ever in your practice. Thanks for listening.